Hey guys, it's Sunday, late morning I think it is. I might be wrong. I think it's late morning, and just thought I'd come out for a walk, bit of a walk, pick up some of that vitamin D, get that sun on the skin, pick that up, get that in your system. If you ain't getting out in the sunlight enough, guys, get out in the sun. And if you haven't got any sun, then get yourself a supplement and get that vitamin D in you. But thought you could just come out here for a bit of a stroll and put the old camera on, and fear came to mind. Not that I'm feeling fear, I feel great actually, feeling in a good spot. But just the word fear came to mind. And we all fear the fear. And because the fear brings on different underlying emotions. But fear's a normal thing, guys. It's a natural thing to have. If you don't have fear, there might have been situations in your life where if you didn't have fear, you may not have been sitting there right now. Yeah? Fear gets us through with certain things. I mean, even when you get in your car, you're getting in your car with confidence. There's a little bit of tiny bit of fear there, because if you drove without fear, you might not be there. You'd certainly be crashing into everybody. So, you know, there has to be fear there. Fear is a protector. Fear becomes a problem when it starts interfering with your regular life and fearing over certain things that you know, like you believe that you're not meant to be fearing. But no, fear's a normal thing, and if you don't have it, it's not going to drive you. It's not going to drive you in some directions of, you know, out of the way, basically, to where you're not going to get involved with something. But don't allow that fear to build into something that it isn't. And that means you're running off of those beliefs, other people's fears, basically. So if somebody fears something and then they start telling you that it's got this, that, and the other, and your brain starts putting all the little pieces, parts together, and then that scenario becomes a fear because this person here says it is. So then you take that on and you start learning from others that, hey, look, you know, this is scary, that's scary. Some people may be doing it because they don't want you to go there because they didn't make it or they didn't quite get there. And then they'll put that fear in you, and then you don't go forward. It's not a conscious thing. If it is, then you don't need to be around them, right? But you know, subconsciously, people, you know, some people get a little bit knocked back when they don't quite make it to somewhere, and then you're going for it, and subconsciously they're wishing it was them. They may give you warning signs because they didn't quite make it, but don't mean you're not gonna, right? But you end up picking up on their fears, and then you end up not doing it. So that's when fears become a problem, because you're not using your own judgments. Plus, you're a bigger warrior by looking at that fear that you may be looking at and moving through it, whatever that may be. And you know, when you're coming up against some of those barriers and fear jumps in the way, it's one of those where you can either stand there, sit there, look at it, whatever you do, and be completely informed by misinformation from others, and then running off of that with your fears. Or you can start being curious, poking around a little bit, finding out what's going on, looking into the unknown, growing, looking for growth. Because you're not going to grow if you stop at your fear. If you stop at your fear, you don't grow. When I was thrown into the position of helping others, if you think I didn't fear, you're mistaken. Absolutely. Completely new to me. But you know what? I'm doing it. Yeah. Got through those initial startup fears, because it was starting up and getting it going. And it was a matter of just saying yes, 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 and moving through the fears, saying yes to something and then figuring out how to get there, or what I'm going to do to get there. and not allowing this to interfere with that. I even had one night right at the beginning, I always remember, and this is a tip that you can use, guys. And I was actually in bed, it was late at night, and that voice was happening, that you're not good enough, you don't know what you're doing, all that. And this is definitely something that works. And I just basically went, stop! Like, I shouted out, stop! And it actually put me on top. It actually put me on top of the fear, because all of a sudden I'm not cowering down and backing away from it. I'm like, get out of here, stop. And it puts you on top. It puts you in a little bit of a different mindset when you do it. And then you just move off of that. Yeah, I can do this, I'm good, right? I've got people in my corner, I've got a foundation, I've got that safety net there if need be, with people that I know. If, we forget the people that we know that we can turn to get information, and then we don't use it. Use your resources, guys. Don't be afraid to use your resources and go to somebody and ask, hey, listen, I've got a little bit of anxiety over this, I know you've done it, right? But making sure that they're on the, you're talking to someone that's done it. Because if you're talking to that person, remember, that didn't quite make it, you might get a different response, and it's just going to fuel your fears. It's like throwing wood on the fire. Throws it on, it doesn't burn fast right away. It just starts off slow, but once that wood catches and that wind starts blowing, and you've got the right scenario, now you got a real blazing fire. And that's what happens up here. So go to the people that may have done it. Go to the people that are confident with it. Go to the people that, would maybe like to do it, and they may do it with you. But don't stop at the fear. Stop at the fear, you're going to stop completely. Find a way, find the solutions. There's always a solution to something. If you want it, find a solution. Stay the course, guys. Namaste.